I think on the speaker.
Each one of us would like to be able to choose the path that he or she walks in life. But everybody, in spite of their differing tastes, would be happy and proud to walk the walkway of human rights. Because human rights is basic to human dignity. And to walk the walkway of human rights is to uphold human dignity, to uphold the value of human beings. This is why I'm very honored, very proud, very happy to be part of the human rights walkway. Canada means very much to me. First of all, of course, I'm an honorary citizen of Canada, so I'm happy to be honored in my country. And secondly, Canada has done so much for the movement for democracy in Burma. So much that we can only say simply thank you, because bigger words do not exist to express what we feel about what Canada has done for us. I hope that in future, all those who stroll along the human rights walkway will think of what we and others who have not yet achieved the right to be certain of human rights are feeling. If you could all walk along and think of what it means to live in a country where you cannot be sure of where you will be the next day, where there is no security, where there is no guarantee of your rights under the law, because there is no rule of law in Burma, not just in Burma, but in many other countries where there is no rule of law. There can be no safe security. We cannot feel safe in our own countries. We cannot feel safe in our own homes. We cannot feel safe in our own beds. These basic safeties are basic human rights. All of us should have the right to feel safe in our own country. And this is what the movement for human rights anywhere is about. To guarantee people the basic need for security. To guarantee that this need is met. That we all feel we have the right to exist as dignified human beings in this world. There is not enough that we can do to promote human rights. Sadly, human nature is such that I think there will always be a need to keep on working for human rights in a particular country, in a particular place, in a particular community. This work will go on forever. But because this is a work that will never come to an end, there is no need for us to be discouraged. In fact, it is a challenge. It is a challenge to all of us to continue in the path in which we believe, in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the difficulties. As I sit here in Burma, I'm going along with you, along the human rights walkway, and I hope that we will always be together in this march towards a distant and perhaps never wholly attainable, but certainly most valuable goal, that is to promote human rights everywhere in our world. I look forward to the day when the human rights walkway from Canada comes all the way to Burma, and then we shall all be able to celebrate.
It's wonderful to be able to hear Aung San Suu Kyi in her own words. And it's also wonderful to have those people who are here who used to live in Burma that are now here in Canada with us today. I know that she's won many more illustrious prizes than being inaugurated on the Côte St. Luc Human Rights Walkway. She's won the Nobel Prize. She's been awarded an honorary citizenship of Canada. She's won the Congressional Medal of Freedom, and the list goes on and on. The Sakharov Prize. It's an incredible thing what a woman who has been under house arrest for 15 out of the last 21 years has managed to achieve around the world. Côte Saint-Luc set up a human rights walkway because Côte Saint-Luc is a city that deeply believes in human rights and freedoms. Many municipal governments across Canada would take the position that they were in place only to fix roads and to do urban planning and set up baseball programs. But the government of Côte Saint-Luc believes that its role is to do a lot more. We're a city that is made up where minorities are a majority. Most of our residents are English-speaking people. They're a minority in the province of Quebec. The majority of our population is Jewish. That's another minority within a minority in the province of Quebec and in Canada. Many of our population comes here from other countries. We have many, many immigrants in Côte Saint-Luc, and people of all races and all creeds and all languages live in this city. And as such, we believe that we're an example to Quebec, to Canada, and the world of how people of different languages, different faiths, different sexual orientations, different creeds can all live together in peace and in harmony and in equality. And as such, we believe that it was our role to continue to honor people from around the world who stood up for human rights, for dignity in countries throughout the world. Last year, we honored people who stood up for Jews in foreign lands, people who stood up for Russian Jews, Syrian Jews, Iranian Jews. The year before that, we honored Helen Suzman. Helen Suzman was a South African anti-apartheid leader. And this year, for the very first time, we're honoring somebody from the Asian continent. We're honoring someone from the country of Burma, someone who has stood up for democracy, stood up for freedom. Aung San Suu Kyi's political party, and I'm going to try to get the name right, National League for Democracy. I have the NLD, but I knew it was something beyond that. The National League for Democracy won the 1990 free elections in Burma. However, the party was never allowed to govern, and she remained under house arrest. And she's been under house arrest, really, for periodic periods from 1989 through 2010. She was released again in November 2010 after the last Burmese elections that most of the world considered not to be free and fair democratic elections. But what has she done? She has stood up in a non-violent way and spoken out for the people of her country and called for them to have the freedom and democracy that we have in Canada. And that's something that is an amazing thing to do. She has sacrificed her own personal happiness. She's someone that lives apart from her children who live in the UK. She's someone that was separated from her husband for most of the 10 last years of his life, and all 4 of the last years of his life in the 1990s. She's someone that has put her country before her own personal happiness. And that is somebody to be admired. It's somebody that you hope does not have to happen in most countries of the world, to say that you can't be with your family in order to be allowed to stay in your country and to fight for democracy in your country. C'est une femme, dans le judaïsme, nous parlons d'une femme de valeur. Ça, c'est une femme de valeur. C'est quelqu'un qui a un but de sauver son pays, d'avoir un pays démocratique et libre. Et elle a vraiment travaillé pour ça pour 20 ans. So, from Côte Saint-Luc's perspective, I'm so proud to be able, in our own very small way, to tell the people of Burma that we stand with you, we stand for democracy, we stand for your human rights, because we know that we have to stand up for others. Because one day, the same thing could happen to us, and we'd want the rest of the world to stand up loudly and cry out for our freedom. So, donc je dis à la population de Burma, nous sommes avec vous. La population de Côte Saint-Luc est avec vous. And we say also to a hero, Aung San Suu Kyi, we are with you. And we're so honored to have you on our Human Rights Walkway. And it gives me great pleasure to next introduce to you our member of the National Assembly for Darcy McGee, Mr. Lawrence Bergman.
Thank you very much, Mayor Housefather, City Councillors, Mark Leader,